Come on into the webinar. My name is Linda Peavy, and I am going to be your hostess for this evening, where we are going to talk about how you get grant money for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. So as you come in, say hello to me, and give that city and that state a shout out. Let me know where you are coming in from. I am in the land, not too far from Cleveland, Ohio, right near the lake. And let me know where you're coming in from. Hey, Felicia, is it South Carolina? South Carolina. And who else do we have here? Nicole from Florida and Kendra from the ATL. Oh, Kendra, I'm headed your way. I'll be there tomorrow. And Latice from the Bama, Alabama is up in the house. And Brent is coming in from Los Angeles, the city of angels. And Dennis is coming in from the ATL. And hello, Danielle from Texas. And Myra from New Jersey and Andaria. Is that right? Andaria from South Carolina. And Rodney from Oklahoma. Rodney, I will spare everybody by not singing that Oklahoma song, even though I love it. And Tony is coming in from South Jersey, 20 minutes to Philly. I know where that is. You might be close to is that near the Cherry Hill area? And Francis from North Carolina. Look at Georgia showing up. Hey, this is Grace from Georgia. And hey, Tony. Ah, yes, sure. I used to live in that area. So if you're that close to Philly, it's you should be in the Cherry Hill area. All right. Welcome, everyone. Welcome as we welcome Andrea. Look at the ATL showing up strong tonight. Atlanta's in the house. I'm literally on a flight headed to Atlanta tomorrow morning. Hello, everyone. My name is Linda Peavy, and I'm going to be your hostess for this evening, where we're going to talk about how you get grant money for your Black-owned business or your Black-led nonprofit. Now, I have a lot of information to share with you, so I'm getting ready to get started. And I'm going to share my screen. And the first slide that you will see is just like my little 30-second TV commercial, which will give you some information about my background and the work that I do and how I am able to help you. And then we are off to the races. We are going to get started. But as I always say, when I hit this share screen button, it's come through technology, come through, because we are live. And let's see, it is looking good thus far. All right.
Hi, I'm Linda Peavy, owner of LaPav Consulting. My passion is to place your organization on the path to excellence. Are you struggling to communicate your message, reach target audiences, or secure funding? From marketing communications to grant writing, we achieve your goals. We've worked with high-profile clients and have secured $17 million in funding for charter schools and nonprofits. Call today to discuss what your success looks like and how LaPav Consulting can help.
All right, so that's just some information about me. Let me make sure everybody's in the right place. This is grant writing for Black-owned businesses and Black-led nonprofits. And yes, this is my live 7 o'clock session. We were on at noon and we had such a good time. And I know we will today. I'm going to attempt to move this little menu down out of the way. All right, there we go. All right. Let's get started. So my background, they call me the grants queen because I have secured over $17 million in grants and business development. And this is year 16 of me owning my company, LaPav Consulting. And every one of those years, I've been a professional grant writer. Now, my undergraduate and graduate degrees are from the University of Akron. Go Zips, go Zips. And I provide grant writing workshops and masterclasses all over the country for many different organizations, literally providing one for Goldman Sachs tomorrow, where I am a proud alumnus of their 10,000 Small Businesses program. And I'm also a member of Forbes Black, which is an organization of Black leaders affiliated with Forbes magazine. Now, I own a business, yes, but I used to lead a nonprofit. So let me know who is here with me today. Into the chat. Let me know, are you a nonprofit or a for-profit, or maybe you're both, because I'm finding that a lot of for-profits are starting nonprofit arms. So let me know if you are both. Into the chat. Let's see who is here with us today. A lot of both. How about that? For-profit, nonprofits. Excellent, excellent. So I ask you that question right up front so that you will know this is for you. You're in the right place, right? So there are grants for both. There are grants for for-profits and there are grants for nonprofits. Yes, I know this sounds different, right? Because when you thought about a grant, what did you think about? A nonprofit, but everything's different now. There's so much grant money for you as a small business. So you're in the right place. And we will talk about that quite a bit. Now, I don't want to get ahead of myself. Now, how did I get here? I used to be a publishing executive in Pennsylvania. That's where I know where Cherry Hill is. I was right outside of Cherry Hill. And I got hurt. And when I got hurt, I had to come back home to Cleveland and recuperate. Literally came home in a wheelchair because I couldn't even stand. And it took me 2 years to recuperate. Well, at the end of those 2 years, I couldn't find a job. Couldn't find a job. My experience was in publishing. And as you can imagine, Cleveland, Ohio is like not the publishing mecca of the United States. So I started my own company, LaPav Consulting, and haven't looked back. Well, one of my first contracted positions was to be this executive director of a nonprofit. And I started the job, and I don't even think I was there, a couple of weeks before I was told that I had to write a grant that would pay for my salary, thus saving my job, thus saving the organization. Now, as I say, we're all family here. You know that there are times when people who look like us are called in to do what? To save the program, to save the day, sometimes to save the entire organization. So if you know what I mean, give me a yes. Give me a yes in the chat if you know what I mean. But I did it. I did it. I was able to write that grant. I researched, I wrote it. I paid for my salary. I saved the organization. And I understood at that moment that there's an amazing connection between grant money and what you can do with the money in order to flourish, right? How about hire staff? How about open? Some of you are not yet open, right? Pay for your expenses. So we will talk about that connection even more as we move along. All right. Now, what else will we talk about? Some keys to funding, why this class is important, grant basics. How do you become grant ready? How do you prepare to apply for grants, right? You need to prep. And what do you write in the application, and how do you write the application so that it is getting noticed in a sea of applications? And then I'm going to show you how to conduct grant research so that you are connecting with organizations that want to give you money. And then don't go anywhere, because I have a list of available grant opportunities for you as Black organizations. And I have a bonus surprise, and we're going to do a Q&A. Now, speaking of Q&A, do not be shy. This is your opportunity to ask a grants expert and a grant instructor questions about grants. So drop them in either the chat or the Q&A as we move along. Oh, I see a lot of yeses. You know what I meant, right? You know how they do, right? So don't be shy. Ask your questions, right? Now, I am here to help you, right? I want you to remember that as we are moving along. Now, because I'm here to help you, you're going to get a copy of this replay for free. I do not charge for my replays. You'll get it tonight and you'll have it forever. No expiration date, so that you can come back to it again and again and again. All right. So you'll get the replay. You'll get it tonight. You'll have it forever. We're ready to go. We are ready to go. Now, why is this class even important? Because we as Black leaders, we are criminally underfunded, right? We need access to money, and it should not always be about loans. We want grant money because grant money is free to us, and you can do it. You can write grants. All of you, everyone on this webinar can write grants. Grant writing is no longer you sitting in some corner writing some 500-page document 3 months at a time. I know, because that's exactly what I used to do. Some grant applications are 2 and 3 pages. Now, what you need to know is that there is a process, right? After having won over $17 million, I know that this is about more than you just answering some questions and sending off the application. That's a quick way to get a rejection letter. So part of what I will teach you tonight is the process so that you can place your organization in a much better position to not only write a lot of grants, but actually start winning grants. All right, we are ready to go. Now, why is there so much money available, especially for Black organizations? Let's start with the small businesses. The money for the small businesses, that happened because of COVID, right? Small businesses were going under. So your major corporations with foundations said that we have to step in, help save small businesses. So they started to create pools of grant money earmarked for small businesses. Now, how does this pertain to you and I? That was the George Floyd incident. When George Floyd was murdered, sure enough, the leaders of foundations saw what everybody else saw and said that we have to do something to address racial injustice in this country. And so they started to create pools of grant money earmarked for Black-owned businesses. So do not always believe what you see on TV. There is so much money still available earmarked for Black and minority businesses, including DEI, diversity, equity, and inclusion, and many other programs. So now is the time, right? You're in the right place to learn about how you can secure some of the grant money that is definitely available to Black organizations. Now, I'm going to just give you some grant basics. What do you need to know? Grants are not paid back, regardless of what you are seeing on social media. Grants are not paid back. So for the next minute, though, I'm only talking to nonprofits. Get your 501c3. It is a requirement that you have a 501c3 for most foundations, because it is mandated by their boards that they can only give their grant money to nonprofits with 501c3 designation. So what is it? That is your tax exempt status offered by the IRS. And the good news is that it used to take the IRS about 6 months to process those applications. Now it's only taking about 8 weeks. So now is the time. And even for you churches, even for you schools, those are your typical nonprofits. Guess what? You still need a 501c3. So yes, you're going to have to go through the process. Now, from this point forward, I'm talking to everybody, all of you, for-profit, small businesses, nonprofits, everybody for the rest of this presentation, especially for this next slide. I want everybody to look at this slide. U.S. grant annual giving, $189 billion, billion with a B, in the course of 1 year, right? So don't let anybody tell you that there's no grant money or there's no money available or we've been through a pandemic, nobody's giving. $189 billion from foundations, corporations, and bequests. Now, when we throw in individual giving, $455 billion. This is in 1 year. Oh, there's plenty of money. It's about how are you going to place your organization in a position to get it. Now, I want you to think about what you could all do with just a little bit of $189 billion, because that's a lot of money. So right now, into the chat, I want you all to write, I just need a little bit. I want you to really think about this. Like, don't be overwhelmed with these big numbers. You just need your slice of the pie. You just need a little bit. Everybody right now into the chat, I want you to write, I just need a little bit. I just need a little bit. You just need your share, right? That's why sharing, we're not trying to be greedy, right? Are we trying to be greedy, Myra? Like, Shannon, do you need all of the money? Francis, do you need every bit of it? Dennis, do you need the whole $189 billion? Or will you just be satisfied with a little slice of it? This is a lot of money, you know, T. So you know what? I'll take the crumbs. You can give me the crumbs that fall from $189 billion, because it's a lot of money. And I do not want you to ever believe that there's no longer any grant money. There's plenty of grant money. How are you going to position yourself to get it? Now, because they call me the grants queen, and this is my evening session, I'm going to be giving you like nice cups of tea. And this is the first cup. It is called Grammarly. Now, if you use Grammarly right now, give yourself some love in this chat. Give yourself some love. What is it? It is a free software editing tool. You download it onto your computer. You use it to write. You use it for your Word documents, for your Excel, for your email, right? I know people use it for text. It will make you a better writer, right? This is important because one of the services that I provide is I review grant applications. And let me tell you, it does not matter how many degrees you have, you need Grammarly. I am a professional editor, a professional writer, a professional grant writer. I don't write without Grammarly, all right? And it's free, so download it. And courtesy of our friends at Grammarly, we have this article, Improve Writing Skills Dramatically by Doing These 15 Things. That's homework for all of you. Download it. Get Grammarly. Yeah. Grace says, please use Grammarly. Tell them, Grace, I'm telling you. Oh my gosh, please, please. It will make you a better writer. And it's free. Now, I have the pro version, but it's free. It's free for all of you. Why is this important? Because I do not want you submitting grant applications full of what? Grammatical errors. And we all make them. All right. Now, what are we doing here? We are preparing to apply for grants. You need to get your documents in order, your EIN, your employer identification number. Try not to use that social security number if at all possible. Nonprofits, you need your 501c3. Now, especially if you are a corporation, you need to find out whether or not you are required by law to have a business license in your state to conduct business. This is different for every state. I'm in Ohio. I have a business. I must have a business license. So check with your Secretary of State, find out whether or not you need a business license. Now, this next section, I provide webinars for nonprofits and boards. As a nonprofit, it is a requirement that you have a board of directors, and no, they should not consist solely of your family and friends. That's a huge red flag, but I digress. You need to get a list of your board members. Now, if you are a for-profit, it's not mandated that you have a board, but if you do, that's great. You need your list. Get your staff, right? Get a list of your staff. Get letters of support. Let the foundation know that there are other organizations that support you. Where are they coming from? It could be the church, your pastor, politicians, if you know them, the mayor, right? Your vendors, community leaders. Next, if you are currently operating, you need your financial statement, your balance sheet, and your profit and loss statement. Now, all of you, even you startups, need an operating budget, because at the end of the day, you must know approximately how much it's going to take for you to operate over the course of a year, right? And when you look at those numbers, it will help you determine how much grant money you need. All right. Good. All right. Now we're going to go through the typical components of a grant application, and I'm going to give you best practices. The first section is a summary abstract. Do not be fooled. You see it first. You always write it last, because you're going to go through your grant application and pull out the most compelling components and dump them into the summary abstract. So you see it first in the application. You always write it last. Now, mission is everything. Even you for-profits, even you small businesses, you need a mission statement, because this mission statement can align you to the foundation that wants to give you money. It defines what you're doing now, your aims and your goals. And guess what? You don't change your mission based on what foundation you're seeking money from. No, your mission statement stays the same as static. You should be seeking foundations that align to your mission. So if you don't have a mission statement, that's homework 101. All right, now, never leave this section blank. This is the history section, because all of you have a history. Even you startups, if you're a startup, I want you to truly think about, what was the impetus? What was the catalyst for you starting your organization? Because whatever those experiences were that led you to open up the organization becomes a part of its history. All right. Now, leadership, that's easy. That's your CEO, your COO, but you always include your board of directors, because they are very much a part of your leadership team. Now, this next section, this is how you separate your application from others. how you describe your organization, because I want you all to think about one word: impact. What has been the impact of your organization on those for whom you serve? And you must use real numbers. You have a homeless ministry. How many homeless people have you placed in shelters, right? You have maybe an LLC, an online coaching service where you coach people in career development. How many people have you coached to their future careers? And if you have not yet opened, if you are a startup, I still want you to think about impact, because now you're writing about what is the impact that you expect to have on the people that you serve. And yes, you could still use real numbers. All right. Now, many of you may have to rethink how you see your organization, because you must write this grant application as if you are addressing an issue or resolving a problem. It doesn't matter what kind of organization you have. It doesn't matter if you have a project-based, service-based, right, program-based. This is how you must write this application. And this pertains across industries. Let's say you have a bakery, right? You are a for-profit, small business. You want to locate in a downtown community. Now, you need a $20,000 grant. So you might be thinking, well, what problem is she resolving? She's making wet velvet cakes all day, right? Well, maybe she decided to open up a vegan bakery because vegans really don't have a lot of great places to buy baked goods. Or maybe she's moving in an area that has been economically, right, disadvantaged, because she wants to help build up the community. Whatever that problem is going to lead you to the organization that wants to give you money, because they are giving grant money for organizations addressing that key problem. Now, how do you find out what foundations provide funding to and for? Well, go to their website. That's where you will determine whether or not your particular project or program or service is in alignment, because it will list on their website the areas of interest where they provide grant money. Now, the issue is 90% of foundations don't even have a website. So that's where you have to get creative, right? And finding those organizations. Francis, are you a bakery? All right, keep dropping those questions. Now, this is where some of you get into trouble. I ask you over the course of the consulting sessions, and this is year 16, me working with organizations, and I often ask, who are you helping? Who's your target population? I often get the same answer: I help everybody. I help everybody. You cannot help everybody. You cannot help everybody. You have to ask yourself, who would best be served by your organization? Is it the homeless, entrepreneurs, minorities, like businesses within a 5-mile radius, right? It can be based on geographical location, but you need like 1, maybe 2 target populations, because guess what? Foundations give according to the target population that they want to help. So you have to be able to define yours. 1, maybe 2. So like, if you know for sure what your target population is, drop it in the chat. Drop it in the chat if you know, like, this is who I help specifically, right? Because I want you to keep in mind that this grant application is an opportunity for you to tell your story. You should be excited about this. You have the chance to tell your story. Talk about how you've been able to change lives or whatever outcome you've been able to achieve, right? Because you have to appeal to the emotions of these program directors that you will be meeting with at the foundation. And there's like no better way of showcasing your impact than using real examples, testimonials, case studies. Ask your clients to talk into their cell phone for 30 seconds. Put that video on the homepage of your website. And yes, foundations do go to your website to check you out. Find out what your footprint is, right? What kind of programs do you have, your impact? And even if you are a startup, let's say you haven't started yet, you can still use video to showcase what? The problem or the issue that you are trying to resolve. So you can still use real examples, case studies, right? To showcase those issues, right? Right. So those living with Crohn's and colitis, like what? So what are you providing? What type of service are you providing? There could be many, 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 many different services that you can provide. Homeless vets, homeless veterans, what are you providing? Are you literally providing a transitional house? Are you referring them to other services, right? Are you providing mental health counseling? You have to be specific, right? As to what service are you providing your target population. Sharing the good news with hallelujah cakes. All right. All right. Funeral services, right? Cremation. So you may be servicing those within maybe a 5-mile radius or 20-mile radius, you name it. And are there specific kinds of funeral services that you provide, right? I know now I've attended some services where you could attend remotely. If you couldn't make it to the funeral service, you could literally live stream it and attend remotely, right? Do you provide like certain special caskets, right? So you have to really think about your target population. All right. Now, all of you have a decision to make, though. Are you asking for operating or program project money per foundation? You can only ask for one or the other when you approach a foundation. Now, we love operating grants because when you get an operating grant, you get to decide where to put the money. And most operating grants are really to build up your infrastructure, like to pay for administrative services or administrative expenses. But I love it because you get to decide the lease, IT, marketing, but only about 32% of foundations give general operating support. Most grants must be applied to a particular program or project of your organization. But here's the takeaway. You must apply to multiple foundations. I cannot stress this enough. This is not a one and done. This is not like a sprint. This is a marathon industry, right? And you have to be careful because grants are not guaranteed. That's why you have to apply to multiple foundations, even for the same need. Because if someone's like whispering in your ear that they can like guarantee you some grant money, I want you to do one of those military turns, one of those about faces, and run any other direction because you're about to be scammed. Anytime you are dealing with this prospect of getting free resources, free money, I tell you, I think the scammers, I think they like grow out of the wood, right? You have to be careful. Please, you have to apply to multiple foundations for the same exact need. It can be for the same need. All right. All right. All right. Now, whenever you are writing about your project or your program or your service, why will it be successful? If it's a new startup, why will it be successful? Why is there a need for it? Why is it that you are the organization to address that need? And why is the need for it now, right? If you've already been operating, why have you been successful? And again, what need is it that you are addressing? And it doesn't matter whether or not you have a nonprofit or a for-profit. You founded your small business for a reason, right? You want to talk about that. Now, I can't possibly overstate the importance of community partnerships for two reasons. One, it will strengthen your grant application because foundations don't expect you to work in some silo. They don't want you to work alone. You will need to answer this question. Who are you working with in your community? And I want you to be able to connect with well-respected organizations, high visibility organizations in your community, right? Because guess what? When you connect with them, you get a little bit of their shine. You get to raise your level of visibility by working with them. And that's number two, raise your level of visibility. Look, some of you have phenomenal programs, phenomenal products, services, but nobody knows about them. Nobody even knows about you, even in your own community. That's why you need to be able to connect with other organizations that are well known. And it does not have to be difficult. Let's say you have an accounting firm. You could give a free tax talk for 1 hour every month at your local library. And I think libraries are criminally underutilized. First of all, they're going to promote you. They might even pay you, right? But then you raise your level of visibility as an expert, right? Could be the Urban League, HBCUs, 100 Black Men of America. Connect. This is homework for all of you. I want you to name 5 organizations, 5 in your community that you are going to connect with. Well respected, organizations. All right. Now, you have to list your goals. When you are asking for grant money, you have to talk about what you believe the end result will be. Like, what do you want to take place if you open up your organization, if you create your small business, if you implement your nonprofit programming? What do you want to happen? So you have to write down your goals, but they have to be SMART goals, specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and timely. Now, let's say I have a literacy program and I write down as my goal, I want to reduce the poverty rate in Cleveland. That's not a SMART goal. A SMART goal would say I want to reduce the poverty rate by 5% in Cleveland for Hispanic children under the age of 5 within a 5-year time frame. So everybody into this chat, what did I do there? What did I do? How did I change the goal into a SMART goal? Right? How did I do that? How did I do that? How did I do that? I was more specific, Francis. Yes. What else did I do? Made it more realistic, Dennis. What else did I do? What else did I do? Listed a time frame, gave it a number. Yes. Andrea, what else did I do? What else did I do? What else did I do? I made it measurable. That's right, Grace, got it. I made it measurable. I added metrics, right? Data and stats, 5% under the age of 5, 5-year time frame, Hispanic children in Cleveland, right? Things that are measured, right? So anytime you want to change a goal into a SMART goal, you add data and stats because you will need to list SMART goals in your grant application. All right, now we are on to the grant budget. This is how you're going to spend the grant money, right? You must itemize those expenses. So if you are seeking $50,000 for an executive director, right? You can't just write, I need 50 grand for an ED in your application. You have to be specific. Is it a contracted position? If so, how much are you paying this person an hour? How many hours are they working in a week? How many weeks in the year? Be specific. The explanation and the how of you using the money goes into the budget narrative. The numbers typically will go into an Excel file as the budget. Okay. If you are needing supplies, you want to purchase supplies. What supplies do you need? How much is each one? And how much do you need? How much are you spending the grant money for? Now, I know some of you are saying, oh, Linda, this sounds nice. This sounds good. This sounds nice, but I don't have time for this. I do not have time to write grants. I don't have time. Remember I said at the beginning that some of these grants are only 2 and 3 pages, and I was serious, right? But I have a question for all of you, and I would love to get an answer in the chat. Do you have time to get free money? Like, do any of you have time to get free money? Like, let me see if anybody has time to get free money. Let me see what's going on in the chat. Oh, I see yes. I see I'll make time. I see yes, yes. I see absolutely. I see yes, yes, I have time. I see just a little bit of that yes time. Yes, absolutely. I will absolutely. I'm saying yes. Yes, I have time for free money, right? So if you have time to get free money, I need you to spend just a little bit of time on the process to get the free money. You're going to have to build some relationships. Yes, you are. You're going to be meeting with the foundation. This is the slide. This is it. If you don't take away anything else away from this webinar, this is it. You will need to meet with the foundation first. There's nothing to be scared of. They want to meet with you because they're considering giving you money. You want to meet with them because oftentimes in that meeting, they will give you inside information about that grant that is not on their website. And you want to build this relationship. Now, I've been in foundation leaders meetings where I've heard them say, you're expecting to get money from us, grant money, and you have not contacted us, you haven't called us, you haven't connected. Slim chance. So yes, meet with the foundation first, right? This is as important as anything you will ever write in that grant application. I probably set up 1,000 of these meetings in the last 16 years. One that comes to mind, a 30-minute meeting, $30,000 my client got. because the mission's aligned, right? And you don't necessarily need to meet in person with the foundation. Now, if it's a foundation that is close to you, close to your vicinity, yes, meet with them in person. But typically these are Zoom meetings, 30-minute Zoom meetings. Remember, a lot of these foundations are national in scope, right? So you can meet with them via Zoom. But this becomes important because this is oftentimes the difference as whether or not you get grants. All right. Now, what do? How do you set up these meetings? You are going to send an email. Yes, introducing yourself, asking for a meeting. In this letter, you're going to describe your organization and talk about who you serve and how you serve them. You are going to align your mission to the mission of the foundation. You are not asking for money in this email. That is the quickest way for you to get a rejection letter. You're asking for a meeting. Now, I have been giving you tea all evening. This is a teapot here. I tell you, this software program is going to get you the email address of the individual, because that is what is difficult to get oftentimes. You might get the name, but the email address, the personal email address that they have for their foundation, sometimes difficult to get. Because I don't want you sending this letter to some generic info at ABC Foundation email. Send it to the exact person. And get email is amazing. I get emails from my colleagues around the world, Italy, Germany, France, you name it. And guess what? They give you 10 free emails. So use them wisely, because if you send this email to a real person at that foundation with a real email address, you will get a response. Now it's time to find the money. This is the grant research that you are going to conduct. Now, Google is fine, but you need to subscribe to one of these grant portals so that you can know specifically where to get the funding that you need for your organization. The Foundation Directory Online is the leading source of information on grants in the US. Now, they give you the names of the organizations, not the grant itself, but the organizations that provide grants. They're $50 a month, but you can get access for free at your local library. All right. Grants.gov, you know, that's the source for federal grants. If I have any churches out there, religious organizations, yes, there's grant money for you too. The Lilly Foundation. Right now, as I speak, there is a grant filtered from the Lilly Foundation through the Calvin Institute. I believe it's the Calvin Institute for Learning or Calvin Theological Institute, where they're giving grants to Black pastors and Black churches. When I tell you what is happening now in terms of these grants for Black organizations and entities, is amazing. It's more than I've seen in the 16 years that I've been in this industry. Grant Gopher, they have a lot of grants for educational funds. I love Grant Watch because they give you the actual grant opening. So they will give you a synopsis of the grant, a link to the grant application, information about the contact person, name, email address, telephone number. Grant Watch, $20 a week. $20 a week. And yes, you can only spend $20 if you want and get you a grant list. I love Grant Station also. They are $200 for the entire year. And they also give you a list of grant opportunities, but I think they do one of the better jobs of allowing you to really hone in on the type of service that you provide. All of you, when we are done, please sign up to urbanawarenessusa.org. They are Black owned, and they provide not only information about grants, but free training. So you definitely want urbanawarenessusa.org. Now, really quickly, I want to show you how you conduct grant research to find potential funders. This is Grant Station, $200 for the year. Look to the right, areas of interest. But for every block you see, there's about 10 to 15 drop-down blocks. So you really get to hone in on what exactly it is that you are providing as a service and your target populations. So you input this information, you push a button, and up pops the list of grants. And yes, if you want to, you can focus on the African-American community, or if you are an African-American provider of your service, you can check that box off too. You're going to be thinking about terms like BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color, right? You can oftentimes check that box off, and that means that the foundation or the funder is specifically giving resources to people of color, right? BIPOC, Black, Indigenous, People of Color. I want to talk a little bit about location because many of you are leaving money on the table. There's low-hanging fruit in your local community that you are not plucking. You know that it is easier to get local grant money. Like, don't be seduced by these $2 and $3 million federal grants. They're very difficult to get. I've received them before. They're difficult to get. And typically you need a partner. Start local. All of you, if you just Google, this is going to get some of you grants. Just Google local community foundation near me, local community foundation near me, and meet with them. Yes, that's what they do. The local community foundations, they give grant money to their local communities, right? Now, well, let me just talk about the national grant makers because I don't want you to skip the national grant makers. Just because a foundation is located in California doesn't mean they're not funding organizations in Maine, right? So think local and nationally, right? And to my international friends, yes, this is absolutely for you. Look in the middle there, global grant makers, right? These are conglomerates, right? That oftentimes have the foundations that give the grant funding. So just because you live in the United States and your population is in Africa doesn't mean that you can't get grant money. You can. You could live in Africa and serve a population in Africa and still get grant money. All right. So you plug in your information, you push a button, and you get a list of grants. Now, I said I had a list of grants for you. I won't go through all of these, just a few. A lot of you have heard of Aunt Jemima, right? They changed their branding. Now they're called the Pearl Milling Company. And guess what? They have a significant grant that's for organizations that serve Black women and Black girls. Now, if you go to any of these sites and the deadline has passed, please get on their email list so that you know when that next grant cycle opens, because many of these organizations have multiple grant cycles, even within 1 year. I won't go through them all. If you have a Black nonprofit, support Black charities. Do you have a beauty brand, L'Oreal and NAACP? They have a grant. Do you have a brick and mortar, the Main Street grant? Are you opening up a Black hair care salon? That Shea Moisture grant, I believe, is open as we speak. Are you a person that provides or creates documentaries or film about the Black experience? The Ford Foundation, one of the largest foundations in the world, they have a grant, right? I won't go through all of these. Amarillo. So if you are a small organization, you might be saying, Linda, this is not for me. I'm just too small. No, organizations like Amarillo, that's all they do is give to super small entities. Or you might say, Linda, it's just me. I don't have some huge organizational chart. You don't need a large organizational chart. You sometimes don't even need paid staff. Did you know that there are grants for all volunteer organizations, right? I know all volunteer organizations that receive grant money. Mustard Seed, they only give to faith-based organizations, right? Lilly Foundation, Black churches, and HBCUs. Are you a startup thinking there's no money? No. Busy and Sky's the limit. They absolutely focus on grants for startups. Now, I know I usually have a lot of women on here with me, so this slide is for you. Make sure you go to helloalice.com and sign up. Right now, they have a food and beverage grant and a restaurant grant. And let's see, there's lists of grants for Black women through Bankrate and NerdWallet, Cartier, the jewelry company. They have a grant. Amber Grants for Women, they give away $30,000 every single month, and $10,000 is usually for a theme, right? Their theme for September is education and childcare. So if you have a daycare center, childcare center, if you're in any kind or type of education, right? Apply for that grant. Then if maybe you want an angel investor, 37angels.com. And then the designer, Tori Bird, she has a phenomenal program just for women of color, right? So right now into the chat, let me know what you think or what comes to your mind when you think about banks and money. Banks and money. You will all get the replay tonight. And then you do your screenshots so that you can get your slides. Banks and money. Oh, overwhelming. Yes, banks can be overwhelming. What else comes to mind? What else comes to mind? Banks and money, banks and money, banks and money, loans. Oh, yes. High interest rates. Oh, yes. High interest rates. Did you know that banks are some of the largest providers of grant money? Grant money. We're fortunate in Northeast Ohio. Oh my gosh, we have so many banks here that give grant money, like millions of dollars of grant money, like Key Bank and PNC Bank. You're not going to the right person. It's like not your branch manager or your loan officer. It's usually a VP, vice president, uh, community reinvestment, vice president of community development, and let's see, VP of economic development. They are important entities and they absolutely, absolutely provide grant money, and they provide grant money to Black organizations. I've received it on behalf of clients, and I know too many Black organizations that have received grants from banks. Bank of America, Wells Fargo, those are the two largest. Bank of America is the largest bank right in the US. They have millions of dollars in endowment. Those are national banks, right? They give to for-profits and nonprofits. And then TD Banks. TD Banks provides grants to mainly nonprofits. And they're typically on the East Coast or the southern regions, right? So remember I said I have not seen the amount of money that is available now, and I do want to help because I know I can help. But in all transparency, I can only help so many of you writing one grant at a time. So what did I do? I created a grant writing course. This is literally how I was able to secure $17 million. I put it in a course so that you could do the same. And what is so important is that it includes my coaching along with it. Because as I've mentioned from the beginning, this is about more than just you writing grant applications or answering questions. It is about coaching and how you better position yourself. This course is absolutely a proven step-by-step path to funding. You get the best grant research techniques. Yes, I teach you how to write every part of the narrative, from the budget to your need statement to how are you using the funds. But the coaching comes in where if you're meeting with the foundation, what do you say? What do you bring? What do you listen for? Right? How do you present yourself? That's where the coaching comes in, because that makes the difference, right? And you get 12 modules, 35 lessons. Every lesson starts with a video because I have some visual learners, but this is what you must know. I've been hired to build and create grant applications, create the questions. I know what kinds of questions are asked in grant applications. I've seen them over and over and over again for 16 years. So those are the kinds of questions I have in this course, so that you do the heavy lifting now. You finish the course with my coaching, right? You answer the questions so that by the time you're done with my course, you have a beautiful template. You have a beautiful grant template. You are ready to apply for grants, right? Because you've answered those kinds of questions already. So by the time that grant application comes around that you're wanting to apply for, you are ready. And yes, you get actual grant examples. And every grant example I wrote, and every grant example won money. And I give you a list of over 600 grant opportunities. When I say this course is for people who are ready to get grant money, it is. And you get a private Facebook group. And that Facebook group, people laugh at me, but I have to say the Facebook group is lit, because in this group, the students, I tell you, they want every other student to win. And they drop more grants than I do. You want to know where grants are? In our Facebook group. I drop so many grants. They drop even more than I do. And I give you more help because I'm wanting you to win this money. I give you an hour of group coaching. And that's not one and done. That's an hour every single month. And the next one is going to be in about a week and a half. Now, this is not what you're paying for the course, nowhere near, but this is what the course is worth. I've had it audited 3 times, 12 modules, 35 lessons, $3,549. The videos are worth $600. The funding list, right, is over 600 now, worth almost $1,000. And yes, you have workbooks and planners and grant trackers, and you go at your own pace. Everything is online, but you get help by coming to the Facebook group, asking questions. And I have people with doctorates in English and education and professional grant writers in the course. You get the help you need, right? Now, it's valued at $5,000. I don't believe in just plucking numbers out of the clouds and saying this is what something is worth, right? The university courses are $5,000, and you certainly don't get access to the professors or the materials, right? In 2 or 3 months. No, my course never expires, never expires. So my regular price is $9.97. Right now it's on special for $4.97. But because you came on the webinar at a time when it's on special, you get 50% off of the lowest price, which right now happens to be $4.97 instead of $9.97. So this is how I serve the community. This is my gift to you. I have other services where, I'm charging 20, 30, sometimes 40 times that amount. But this is for you. This is for you because it's a small amount of money for what you get. $247, one payment, but you have to use the code SEP17P, SEPT17P. You have to use that code because it is right now in the system at $4.97. That's what people pay. If you need a couple of months, you've got a couple of months, $137.50 right now. And then you pay the last one $37.50 30 days from now. But guess what? I don't drip my course. It's an honor system. You get everything right now as soon as you pay the $137.50, everything. The course, the Facebook group, right? And Facebook group has all of the prior group coaching sessions. And yes, you get templates. Remember, I taught you about the email. You get a template for that. You want to create a partnership, you get a template. I have a grant application template, right? If you want to make the 2 payments, put a number 2 on the end of that code. Let us know you want 2 payments. All right. So this is everything you get. And by the way, you write it off, right? You write the course off because it is tax deductible fully. It is an educational expense and a business expense. And yes, you get a certificate at the end. So yes, I teach you how to write, but I also coach you to move you much closer to actually getting, right, the grant. So $247, that's the lowest payment. One and done. You'll have the course forever. You have to use the code. And then 2 months, put a 2 on the end of the code. Now you've got 4 days until Friday to get the additional 50% off. I'll say that again. You've got 4 days until Friday to get the additional 50% off. All right. Now, if you want to buy the course, this is what you do. The link is in the chat. If you want to pay the $247, one and done, hit the regular price right now. Right now it's $4.97. You hit that number, it will take you to this page here. Look to the left there. You have a coupon. Everybody else is paying $4.97, but you have a coupon. You have a large coupon, by the way. Most people don't even have any coupons. You will get $250 off. You pay $247. Look at this little block here. Oh, that's you and me. That is a VIP private session, just you and me. And let me tell you, I do a deep dive into your organization. I get you together. Before we even talk about grants, I look at your mission, your vision, your target population, your infrastructure, and then we look at some local and national grants, right? It's $495 for that 1 hour because you leave with complete clarity, right? It is a session. You get the session notes and you get the video. The only time you will see it reduced to $195 is if you buy it with the course. If you don't buy it with the course, it's $495. Now, if you want to, before I move to the 2 payment option, this is new. If you want to pay $247, you can even stretch out that payment because now we have a firm afterpay, excuse me, in Klarna. So guess what this does? And I just learned this yesterday. A firm will actually stretch out the $247 to 12 different payments. But I think they all give you 4 payments, no interest, right? So you can even stretch out the $247 if you want, right? But if you want to just make the 2 payments with us, you can, right? You hit the 2 times $275. That's what everybody else is paying. But when you come to that page, look there, you've got a coupon. You input your coupon. Remember, put a 2 on the end of the coupon. We'll take 50% off. $137.50 is what you're paying now. And then in 30 days, the other $137.50. But you get everything now. And yes, you can add the $195 onto it. All right. Now, I want everybody to look at this page. I want everybody to look at Whitney because Whitney never thought she would get any grant money. $247 investment, right? Last year, she got 2 $200,000 in grants. $200,000 in grants. Well, I take a step. Why? Because she did exactly what I'm asking you to do. She started local. Southern Power Fund gave her $40,000. Then she went to a national organization. National Birth Equity Collaborative gave her 50. I thought she was done. She surprised me earlier this year and said, Linda, nope. Last year, over $200,000. Right now, she's saying I can be a salaried employee of my own business. Right? 247 investment. She got $200,000. And you want to know about the for-profits, right? The small businesses, $20,000 grant winner, Miss Linda Peavy. This is Michelle Richardson and Annette Thompson of Tranquility Point Therapeutic Massage. They have a massage company. We both wanted to share our wonderful, fabulous news. Our small business was awarded a $20,000 grant. We are so very thankful and grateful for your course. It's been life-changing for our business. One small investment. Christina is an educator. May I share that I am so grateful for Linda? I would not have had the confidence to follow through on applying for grants if it wasn't for her grant writing course. The depth of information provided is unmatched from my experience, and she's an educator. I won my very first grant to grow my business, and I am so grateful. She got a $10,000 grant and a year's mentorship. When I tell you it's a $5,000 course, I'm not kidding. You'll see when you get in. Remember, I said there are grants for churches. Reverend Christine, she's over $35,000. Natalie became so proficient because she took the course, learned how to truly write grants. She won a $50,000 grant for a church, right, last year. And Tabitha, she's now in the Black Girl Ventures Emerging Leaders program, along with the $5,000 grant. Are any of you going to be pitching your companies, like it may be pitch competitions? The course is great. You'll be prepared. April called me. She said, Linda, I'm going to enter a pitch competition, south side of Chicago. She came in second place, beat out 100 competitors, took home $9,000. And it doesn't take long. Quenisha, she got that elusive Walmart grant, $750. She took the one-on-one. She said, thanks, Linda Peavy, because that one-on-one session we had is getting my organization funded. And then look at Kimberly. She sent this in late May. I've been blessed to receive four sponsorships from local organizations and businesses since April. Right? Follow the process that I'm setting up for you, which is the course and my coaching for $247, right? Now, ask me the difference between a grant and a sponsorship when we get to the Q&A. All right? Now we are done. It is time for the Q&A. It's time for the Q&A. Now, before we go into the Q&A, this is really important because I believe in manifesting what you have inside of you to get it out onto paper, right? Or just making sure you write it down, right? Writing down your vision. So this is important because I know a lot of you, this has been quite a journey. A lot of you have been at this for a long time, right? You're tired of using your own money. You're tired of not knowing where to go for grants, how to write the grants. What do you do? How do you meet with the foundation? What do you say? So I want you to write this down so that you can be in the right mental space moving forward, because whatever you do not end this here. I would love for you to buy the course. Even if you don't buy the course, do not let this be it. Don't let this be another webinar that you've taken and you don't do anything with it, because there's too much money available to you as a Black organization for you to sit on this. You can't sit this one out, right? You can't sit this one out. Right now, everybody into the chat, I want you to write, I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. I am ready to get grant money. Do you know, have you been watching the news? Do you know that some of these organizations are being sued because they're trying to get you grant money? Hello Alice, Fearless Fund, Progressive Insurance, all sued, trying to give money to a Black organization. That's right. Francis, Kendra, Felicia, Shannon, Tony, I'm ready to get grant money. T and Latice and Danielle, I'm ready to get grant money. Grace, the written word is so powerful, so powerful. That's why I ask all of you to write this down, right? Some of you has been up here forever. Is what you wanted has been up here forever, right? Write this down. People, it's September. It's go time. Like, I'm a huge football fan. It's time to get off the field. There are people being sued trying to get you money, right? Last year, I had never seen this in my life. I tell you what is happening. I've never seen in the 16 years I've been in this industry. Progressive Insurance had a $25,000 grant. It could only go to a Black business, and this was all over the country, right? It could only go to a Black business so that they could buy a car, so that they could buy a vehicle to use in their business. They had to buy a car with a $25,000 grant. I've never seen anything like this, right? Do not believe what you see on TV. The money is available. The money is available. All right. The money is available. No, there are no slides. When you watch your replay, I want you to do screenshots, and those will be your slides, screenshots. What you will get is the chat, which has quite a bit of links in the chat. So you will definitely get the chat, but do your screenshots when you play your video, do your screenshots. All right. Now it's Q&A time. It is Q&A time. The 2 payment option does not expire September 20th. The discount does. So after September 20th, you'll be paying 2 payments of $275. But if you use the coupon code before Friday, it will be 2 payments of $137.50 because you get a 50% off discount. So it's not, you can buy the course at any time. Right now, you'll be paying $495 if you don't have the discount. But the $495 will probably be going away fairly soon. But right now it's $495 if you don't have the discount. It'll go back up to $997 eventually. That's why this is, I'm telling you, this is an amazing deal. I have colleagues, right, that have grant writing courses. They're $1997. They're $1,997 for their grant writing course. And I know for a fact that you don't get anywhere near what you get here. And you get my coaching through the Facebook group and the live monthly group coaching call, right? People have been able to get grant money right from that coach, just from the coaching call, all right? And then the one-on-ones are on a different level, right? Because that's just you and me. I do a deep dive into your organization because, oh my goodness, as an entrepreneur, and I am one, oftentimes, you know, we have 20,000 ideas in our head, and I help you focus in that one-on-one. So if you don't know exactly where you should be focusing, I help get you focused, right, on really what you should be spending your time on doing. All right. All right. Somebody did screenshots as we were going. Very nice, very nice, very nice. Yes. The difference between a sponsorship and a grant, you all need to know this. All right. So make sure when you approach a bank, you can ask a bank for a grant or a sponsorship. If you're approaching a credit union, ask for the sponsorship. So with a grant, when a foundation gives you a grant, they can't expect anything of value or gain any type of benefit because they gave you grant money. That's illegal, right? So all they can do is ask you to indicate to them in their grantee report, how did you use the grant money that we gave you? But they can't expect anything of value. For example, a bank can't demand that you join their bank because they gave you grant money. That's illegal. With a sponsorship, an organization is expecting something in return from you, something of value. Maybe they want their little tchotchke in your swag bag, or maybe they want their logo on your marquee, or maybe they want an ad in your program booklet, or maybe they want to speak to your audience, right? There has to be something of value that they're getting for giving you a sponsorship. And for any of you who are putting on any type of a program or an event, you absolutely should be asking for sponsorships. Keep in mind, I have some templates. I have templates in the course. The course comes with templates. All right. Let's see. I am going to start over in the Q&A section. I want to be able to obtain funds for a building, for a church. So let me just say this to all of you. You have to start small. You have to think about this. You have to think like the funder. If you have not even received a $10,000 grant, is an organization going to give you a $500,000 grant to maybe to buy a building, right? No. So maybe you want to ask for lesser money to lease a space, right? To have your church services in a leased space. And then as you grow members, right? As you create more ministries, as you provide more outreach, as you benefit the community more, then you ask for more grant money. Then eventually one day, maybe you can, right? Have money to buy a building, but start low, start small. I get requests all the time from people saying, I want money to buy a home for homeless women or to buy a transitional home. It doesn't work that way, right? Have you ever received grant money before, right? Because the foundation is thinking, am I going to give this person a $500,000 to buy a house and they've never received a $5,000 grant? So start small, get a smaller grant, lease a duplex, right? Utilize that duplex for transitional housing for women. Start small, then grow, right? Start small, then grow. So there is a grant right now from the Calvin Institute, right? And they do have grant money for churches and for pastors. And you have to go in there and just really read what the criteria is for the grant, right? Because maybe there is some money there for like a church plant, right? So that depends on your background, right? So oftentimes if you are wanting to plant a new church, where did you come from? What type of church did you have? And what resources do you bring along with wanting the grant funding? All right, I'm going to, that's a great question. I'm going to start at the top though, for those who posted at the top, and then I'm going to come down. And yes, it is tax deductible. I'm a pastor and have a 501c3. Excellent. So you have what you need. Excellent. Now really think about what type of ministry do you want, right? Because you can lease space. You can lease space and grow your ministry out of that space. Let's see. Are there grants for funeral businesses? So if you are just going to Google, I need grants for a funeral business, I don't think anything's going to come up. So what you have to do is look broadly. So there are grants for Black organizations, for Black businesses. Apply for those grants, because not all of those grants are specific as to what you need to be providing. Remember I said BIPOC? And for those of you who have stayed with me until the end, you know there's always a bonus for staying until the end. I have a list of those grants. I have a list of grants. In addition to what you get in the course, I have a list of 300 grants that are geared towards BIPOC, Black, Indigenous people of color. So when you go through that grant list, you're going to see grants that are geared towards Black organizations. I will give you that list for free if you buy the course today. You'll get the list for free. You will get the list for free. And that list is tailored to you. So all of you, think about ways in which you can search for grants. And of course, if you buy the course and you come into the Facebook group and you ask me that question, I can really kind of drill down on it a little bit further for you. But sometimes you want to look for more general grants that are geared for Black businesses. And then you talk about the fact that, yes, I have this funeral business. But also people look to your industry. Look to your industry, right? If you are wanting to open up a restaurant, you know, Hennessy has a grant. You want to be in the transportation industry, FedEx has a grant. You want to open up a hair care salon, Shea Moisture, they make shampoo and conditioner. And same industry, look to your industry. That's a great way for some of you to seek and find grant funding. All right, let's see. All right, let's see. Yeah, great, great, great target populations like homeless vets. What do you want to do with them? How do you want to serve them? The people living with Crohn's and colitis, how do you want to serve them? What are you doing? Right? I'm servicing those who are seeking to find Jesus and a new way of life. And how? How are you servicing them? Right? What type of ministries are you providing that would make their life better? Right? Because it has to be more than just providing the word, right? Because there are many, 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 many pastors out here, right, that provide the word. What are you doing specifically? Are you providing some type of resource that will not only, right, help them find a new way of life, but maybe help them find some skills too, right? A lot of the churches that also offer services are many of the ones that get grant money, right? So maybe they offer a resume writing service or soft skills, or maybe they have a ministry for ex-offenders or ministry for the homeless or a community outreach ministry, right? All right, let's see. So the baked goods, right? You share your testimony through the baked goods, and you're involved with your church. What about other churches? Right? Remember I said connect with the community. I bet there are other Christian organizations in your community that would love to know about your service, right? Especially the large Christian conferences, right? Where they bring in caterers. A lot of the Baptist conventions where they have, right? They have vendors. So you have to just really expand beyond sometimes even who you're serving in your local area. All right, let's see. And yes, yes, you can write it off. It is a business expense. And yes, you go at your own pace and everything is digital. I'm a friendly person. Networking is everything. Is this before or after the application? It is definitely before. You are meeting with that foundation before. You're meeting with the foundation before. Okay. So yes, you're meeting with the foundation beforehand. But if you can't meet with them beforehand and you have to submit the grant application to meet with them. But again, hopefully you will allow me to help you right through this process, because again, this is about more than you just answering questions of the grant application. What you don't want to do is write a lot of grant applications, right? And you're not getting funded. There's a process to this that I can truly help you with, right? Okay, let's see. Other questions. Let's see. Other questions. I saw a few at the bottom here that I wanted to address. So I addressed the difference between the sponsorship and the grant. Is it true you should apply for a grant a day? Oh, I don't know anyone that applies for a grant a day. I'm not sure where that came from. I've never even heard of that. I've never even heard of that. So this is where you need to be cautious, right? Because what it does not serve you to write a bunch of grants that you're not even qualified for, to say that I'm writing a grant a day. It is more effective for you to research the organization, make sure your mission is aligned to the organization, and apply for grants that are more tailored to you. You will have a much better chance of winning, right? Because it's exhausting, right? Writing a grant a day, and then you don't get any of the grants because they were just grants that you heard about, or that you've seen, or the money looked great. A lot of people are seduced by these $2 and $3 million government grants, like, oh my gosh, there's so much money I have to apply. And it ends in an almost guaranteed rejection letter, right? So I would say spend that time on doing some research and making sure that the grants that you submit, that they are really in alignment with the work that you do, right? And you've met with the foundation, right? All right. Mobile boutique, a mobile boutique for what? Is that a hair care salon? What is that exactly? Can your nonprofit also be a foundation? Absolutely, it can. Is there a different filing for it? That I don't know. That's an accounting question that I don't know. Can you give advice on how to approach asking companies to donate products instead of money? Absolutely. There's no difference. There's no difference. No. You're simply asking for a donation of product. So let's say you're serving teenage girls, right? Teenage girls, you have maybe an etiquette program for teenage girls, and you want a company to donate products. Maybe you want a company to donate feminine hygiene products, right? I see that a lot. The process is the same. The only difference is instead of asking for money, you're asking for a product, right? But you still have to talk about why you're deserving of getting those donations. What are you using with the products that you're getting? How is the product that you're getting going to serve that young lady, right? So the process is no different. You're just completing information about the fact that you need product. And let me tell you that I'm glad you mentioned that, because there's so much money being left on the table. I'll give you an example. Let's say you have an after school program where you are teaching like 8th graders baseball, right? Maybe you have an after school program or even a summer program, summer camp, summer baseball camp, right? You should be seeking both grant money and donations, right? And the donations aren't always in the form of money. You can go to Dick's Sporting Goods because, they give out those $1,000 gift cards. So it may not even be in equipment, or it may not even be in money. It may be a gift card. So oftentimes you can go to those very large retailers and ask for $1,000 gift card so that you can buy your team some equipment, right? So again, you have to kind of think out of the box sometimes. But I know Dick's Sporting Goods, they're excellent for that. They're known, right, for providing, large dollar gift cards. There you go. So this is excellent, right? So Frances has, I think first she said she has a bakery. I think the first thing she said was, I have a bakery. Oh, that's me. I have a bakery. But now she's saying, I offer cake decorating for battered women and children. So you know what she did right now? That is literally four different categories where she can apply for grants. She can apply for grants because she's a woman-owned business, right? There will be grants for that. She can apply for grants because now she's in the food industry. She's teaching cake decorating. That's second area. A third area, right, is the fact that she is teaching. She is teaching. So she is doing what? She is providing education. That's number 3. Number 4, she is helping women and children. Battered women and children, right? So right there, she can literally look for grants in 4 different categories. And the same applies to all of you. All right. Once we pay for the course, will you get notice that I have paid? Absolutely. As soon as you pay for the course, I'm notified. Yes. All right, let's see. Do you have an email address where we can reach out to you? Yes. Melissa, if you could drop my email into the chat, please. And by the way, please put this email on your Safe Senders list, because you are going to get your replay tonight. And I just don't want to go into your spam folder, right? And you'll get emails over the course of the next 3 days until Friday, giving you the replay and your code and the link, right? Because you've got until Friday to get the extra 50% off. Can you use the same grant letter to apply to multiple organizations, just in case one organization does not approve your grant? What I'm asking you to do here is to create a grant template. That's what I'm asking you to do. Once you go through the course, you will have a grant template. You're going to be taking information from that template and applying to multiple grants, right? What you never want to do is copy and paste word for word, because every grant application is a little different. But there's information that will be the same. So once you write it out thoroughly, you got a great mission, you got a great history, which is what I lead you to do in the course. That information you can copy and paste from there to all of your other applications, or your problem statement, right? Or your history. But some of the other questions are sometimes asked a little differently, but the great news is that you have the words, you have the narrative to pull from. And for any of you that are going to be using AI, the course is great because my questions you can use as prompts. For those of you using AI, you know that you cannot use AI to just magically write a grant application. You can't get around needing to write to tell your story. And nobody can tell your story better than you. You're using AI, use it as a tool and not a replacement. I'm literally, as we speak, writing a training that will teach people how to use AI to write grants. But you will have a great, beautiful grant template that you're using. This is why it saves you so much time. Because instead of writing every grant application from scratch, you have your grant template because I've asked you the questions already, right? That's why you're saving so much time, okay? Can a nonprofit branch in your for-profit? Yes. So a for-profit can have a nonprofit branch. Yes. Ask your accountant how that is set up, but absolutely. Oh my gosh, think about the pharmaceutical companies, right? So you've heard now a few years the pharmaceutical companies are being sued, right? Because of some type of malpractice or some type of product that they provided. And this is what they're doing, which was actually genius, right? So I'll give you an example of maybe Johnson & Johnson, right? Because you know they were sued because of the baby powder, the talc and the baby powder. So I think the grant was, let's see, about $2 billion, right? The judgment was about $2 billion against them. Somewhere, don't quote me on that, but I know it was a significant amount of money. Well, instead of the money coming from, right, the Johnson & Johnson bottom line, they started foundations. So now all of that money is being paid out of the Johnson & Johnson Foundation. So for-profits start nonprofits for a number of reasons, but it's quite prevalent. All right. Let's see. Thank you, Francis. So yes, that's part of what I do, especially in the one-on-one, because as an entrepreneur, that happens. Like we have a million ideas up here. So I help to focus, right? I help to focus you on what you should be thinking about based on your skill set and your desires and your goals. All right. Let's see. Is it correct that our business should get put in a living trust? That is a legal question. I can't advise you on that. That's a legal question. All right. All right. Let's see. I think I saw a few more in the Q&A. All right. So I want you all to hear this. I won't say the name. I am completely overwhelmed. I created an LLC in July, right? License, bank account, etc., due to being unemployed for over 6 months. I have no idea where to go from here. I'm a business of one. I do all of the cooking, passing out filters, marketing, packaging, and delivering with a toddler in tow. All done out of my house. If I could simply get another refrigerator to keep those foods separate, it would be happy right now. I just need a path forward. So first of all, and this is for all of you, there should never, ever be a party of one. No, should never, ever be a party of one. You've got to use resources that are available to you, right? Get an intern. Go to your local community college. Let me tell you, not all interns want to be paid. Some interns want the experience, right? So I'm not sure what business you're in, but you're saying you're doing cooking, you're passing out flyers, you're doing marketing, so you're doing some type of cooking. There are interns that would probably love to want to just kind of sit at your feet and learn from you about the cooking business, right? Because not all interns want to be paid. Go to your local community college and find out whether or not they have interns that are willing to work for you, right, for the experience. Or get volunteers. You would be surprised. I'm talking to all of you now. You would be surprised how many people would help you if you only asked. If you only asked, right? There are probably people willing to help you, even if it's for 2 hours a week. You could get multiple people helping you for 2 hours a week, right? Especially now, especially like just in the meantime, right? Just to get you through this. Ask, but search your community college for volunteers that will be willing to work with you and assist you for the experience. All right. Let's see. Have a mobile notary business. I do a lot of loan signings, and I go to nursing homes to notarize and do power of attorneys, wills, medical directors. I would like to apply for grants to pay for myself and hire at least one person. What type of grants would I look for? So you're, first of all, you're in the financial services industry, so that's financial services. So you want to look. So many of you look to your local government. Many of you don't know that your city government have grants because they don't let people know that they have grants. You're working in your community. Meet with your representative. Let them know that you are seeking grant funding for the work that you do, that you are serving your community, you're serving nursing homes, you're doing all of these mobile notarizations. Also, meet with your bank. Remember I said, similar industry. You're in the financial services industry. Meet with your bank. Let them not, it doesn't have to be your bank. It could be a major bank in the community. You want to meet with their VP. I listed the names of the VPs right into the chat and meet with them. Let them know what you're doing. Ask them if they have grant funding for you, right? This is your business. This is your small business, right? You're devoted to your community, and ask, but also look for those generic grants, Amber grants for women, right? One of the months, their theme is financial services. Find out what month that theme is, but still apply because the $10,000 is themed. Other than the $10,000, they still give away $20,000 in general funding every month, right? So you can apply to Amber grants for women. That's another one. Also apply to grants that are geared towards women-owned businesses. Sometimes it doesn't matter what industry you're in, right? Do you have information about the mailing list? Which mailing list are you referring to? So if you buy the course today, you get the list of 300 organizations that are geared towards Black, Indigenous, people of color. You will get that list. You will get that list. I need someone to help with media, social media. Yeah, that would be great. There are probably people that would be happy to volunteer. There are people who would love to get that type of experience, social media experience. All right, I believe I've answered all of the questions. So you have until Friday to get the course. It is either $247. What I want you to do is really consider investing this amount of money in yourself, right? Because a lot of you are just, you're wandering around. This is a maze. Like the grant industry is just a maze. Literally, a firm will give you 12 payments, 12 payments for this course, 12 payments for this course that you're going to write off anyway, to be able to work with a grant expert and a grant instructor on how to get you grants, right? At some point, you've got to be able to invest in yourself just a little bit, just a little bit. All right. So I want to thank you all for hopping on. I have answered all of the questions. Let me make sure. Let me hop over. I hope this has been helpful. I hope you've been able to get information that can certainly move your organization forward. I hope to see you in the Facebook group. Over the course of the next 4 days, I have to share a story that happened about the Facebook group. Speaking of scammers, because I create a safe space. That's something else. I create a safe space. One of my students wanted to hire a grant writer, which is fine. I can help you with that. But she went outside and she spoke to somebody and they said, if you give me $250, I'll write all these grants for you. And she said yes. And all of a sudden they started asking her for her bank account number, her bank routing number, her social security number, she's like, something's wrong here. She came into the group, she created a post that said, I don't feel right. I feel as if, maybe something's happening. And the students and the Facebook group, because this is what they do, they converged on the post and they said, you know what, let us investigate this organization for you. And they did, and they were scammers. But that's the community that I have. So if you want to come into a safe space where you're actually getting help, right? Moving towards getting grant money, you can take the course and come into a community of like-minded individuals that are trying to get grant money, that are getting grant money, right? So you've got 4 days to get the discount. I hope to see you. Whatever you do, look, it's go time is September. You know what's great is that there are grants available all throughout the year. And I have to say this because this happens at the end of the year. Oftentimes, if you have a foundation that is on a calendar year, sometimes you see them scrambling at the end of the year to get that money out because they have been mandated that they have to give a certain amount of money out every year. And it starts to get towards the end of the year. And sometimes you see these foundations looking for organizations to give funding to. That's why you have to know where to look and how to look and where to go. All right, let me make sure. Let me make sure that I have answered all of the questions. The price is a steal, it just is. When I tell you my colleagues are charging $2,000 for their courses, they are. I have coaches, they think I'm insane, but like I said, this is how I serve you, right? And definitely next year, it won't be anywhere near that price. It just won't be anywhere near $247, but it is now for you. For certain up until Friday. And then after that, people are happy to pay the $495 for the course. So thank you so much. I appreciate you hopping on. I hope to see all of you in the Facebook group because I hope you can buy the course and finally get some vision and some direction as to where you should be going and how you need to move forward. Please don't go into the new year stuck. Please don't go into the new year stuck. All right. So thank you so much. My name is Linda Peavy. I'm creator of the course Grant Writing for Non-Writers, Keys to Winning Grant Proposals, and founder of the company, LaPav Consulting LLC. And hopefully I will see you all over the course of the next 4 days. All right. Thank you so much. And those of you who are buying the course, look for your 3 emails. One email, you create your username and password because you get into the course right away. And then you'll also get that link to the Facebook group. And oh, you want to be in the Facebook group. All right. And then the other email is the welcome email. All right. So thank you so much. I appreciate it. Be safe, and be well, and blessings to all of you. And I certainly hope that this has been helpful. Thank you so much. Bye-bye.